Hey everybody, this is Grant, your friendly neighborhood Tanzu team member. If you remember in the last video I did a couple days ago, I made a commitment that I was going to deploy my first workload to that management cluster that we deployed. This is me following up on that commitment. I got some free time this morning. That's the great thing about being a predominant West Coast company. When you're East Coast, you have some free time in the mornings to get real work done or to do some fun things. So I don't have any meetings right now, so I thought I would follow up on that commitment. So where did we leave off? We left off right here. You can see I haven't even done anything else in my terminal since we got our workload cluster created. So what do we need to do now? We need to get the context for this cluster that we created. And to do that, I think we're going to use the Tanzu command, and we're going to say cluster list. And this will list all of our clusters, and we can see my workload. If memory serves me right, we can do cluster cube config, and this is how you actually get the config file. I spelled it wrong, but we'll do that. Get cube config of a cluster. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do get, and what was my cluster name? I think it was just called my workload. What does this say? Failed to get Pinnipit. Oh, okay. So this is because if you remember during the install video, I did not set up authentication. I literally remembering me saying I don't care about authentication. Maybe I do care at this point. But let's do this again. We just need to specify that we are going to do this as the admin. Okay, and so that should pull down the kubeconfig file, or the context for us. Credentials of cluster my workload have been saved. So now if we do kube control CTX, if you're not familiar with it, it's a plugin based on the crew system. If you don't have crew, I would suggest installing that. This will allow you to install other packages, and CTX is just a package that you can use. You got to do crew CTX, I think. Well, no, maybe I don't have crew installed. This is, I do have it installed. Maybe I just need to source my Z shell again and do crew CTX. There we go. Okay, I did add crew. That's the sad state of my life is I installed crew after the fact, and you remember this shell was just sitting there, so it didn't actually refresh the environment variables that I had there, or updated the path in this case. So we can see now that the my workload admin is now a context in my cube config file. So we just need to change to that. So let's do -- help, and we can just pass it in, it looks like. So let's pass in the name of that cluster, and now if I do kubectl get namespaces, yeah, this looks good. Okay, so this is that management cluster that I deployed, or sorry, the workload cluster I deployed. So let's pop over to Safari and log into our vCenter server again. I just want to see what this workload cluster looks like. If I can remember my password here. We should see a small workload cluster now. Yep, we do. Let me close this warning here. So this is the cluster we're actually using now, that we created in the last video. So it has one control plane and then one actual node that we can deploy apps onto. Okay, so let's deploy something. This will be fun. Let's head over to my stale and hardly ever used GitHub account. And I am not even signed in. Like, seriously, this is the state of my life right now. Luckily, I don't need to sign in, but this is a little game I wrote 2 years ago. Let's see if this will actually still work. Let's read the instructions here. So I must have already created a YAML file is what I'm guessing. Yeah. So what it's going to do, it's going to create a namespace. And it's going to deploy this image. And it's going to set up a node port. And it's going to set replicas to 5. Okay, so this will be good. Let's run this. See what happens. Oh, maybe I should just use the tools available to me and click on the copy button. And let's just run this. Namespace Wild West created, deployment created. Okay, that was easy. Get namespace. So now we have a Wild West. So let's switch over to the Wild West namespace and do kubectl get pods. Oh, okay. That's cool. That just worked. Man, and I wrote this 2 years ago. That's crazy. That's back when I actually used to do real stuff. Okay, so we have 5 replicas. How do we get to this now? We probably need to do a port forward initially. Yeah. So let's copy this and let's port forward this. Alright, let's see if this works. If this works, this will be a testament to how awesome mankind is that this works 2 years later. 27. Look at that! It works! Huh! That's pretty amazing. Maybe I should start coding on this again. Let's kill a few pods here. Let's see if that actually killed the pod. Oh, shoot. Let me create a new tab here and say cube control get pods. Okay. Oh, I don't have destructive mode enabled. I remembered when I coded this thing that I needed to enable destructive mode for it to actually kill pods. So yeah, I would have to redeploy this thing. But yeah, pretty fun. That was amazingly simple. That was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Actually, I haven't touched this code in forever, and it still works and deploys just fine to Kubernetes, specifically Tanzu Community Edition. So let's do, what should we do next in the next video? So Tanzu Community Edition ships with available packages, and this cluster right now is just a default plain old vanilla cluster. In the next video, we'll probably install an ingress controller and actually get an ingress for this little application so it can have its own IP address on my network, so I don't have to do this port forward business anymore. And then eventually at some point I need to like actually set up Let's Encrypt certificates specifically for both my vCenter install and then also for my ingress controller as well. So we'll probably do like a wildcard domain cert and actually hook it up to a real domain. So that was pretty fun. That was pretty easy. Feel free to check out that little game if you want. You can deploy it, I guess, with just one command. Just read the docs. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Next time we'll install the ingress controller. See y'all later.